I'd like to thank you for committing your time to practice with me today. I know in this world that time can seem like a limited resource, and showing up to practice is a very honorable way to spend your time. So I encourage you to set up your space with any support that you'd like: blankets, pillows, blocks, maybe your favorite stuffed animal. And start to settle in by coming to a seat or lying down, and just taking any movement that you feel is necessary to ground you in your space. Begin to settle in, noticing the tension releasing from your body as you take conscious, intentional breaths, lengthening your inhale and lengthening your exhale. There's a technique called Ujjayi, or ocean sounding breath, that's very helpful in anchoring the mind. You can try by taking a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, pretend that you're fogging up a window. Now, as you breathe in, try the same thing. You can even place your hand in front of your mouth if that's helpful. But ultimately, you'll be feeling a contraction in the back of the throat. Try to bring the lips closed and make the same sound. You'll notice that it sounds like the ocean. Take 3 deep Ujjayi breaths. And notice how you feel. Begin to unclench the muscles of the jaw. Notice if you're tightening in the low belly, and try to send breath into your low belly. Your shoulders peel away from your ears as they move back and down the spine. Thank you again for committing your time to practice and settling in with me today. The practice of yin is slow as we hold postures for an extended amount of time. There are 3 tattvas, or truths, of the yin yoga practice, and that first one is exploring the edge of your stretch. So as we come into our first posture, explore what that means for you. We'll extend the right leg long and keep the left foot tucked in towards the thigh. I'll give you time to get situated if you are lying down. And even as you're seated, it's important to be present with each step of the posture. Positioning the belly button so that it's facing the right knee. You can bring in any props you'd like. I like to take a pillow inside of my right leg, or even take 2 blocks to frame my leg and put the pillow on top. It acts as a support for my spine and allows me to get deeper into my hamstring and hip. And that's what we're exploring here in this stretch. We'll hold each pose for around 3 minutes, and I will let you know when we're halfway through. Exploring your edge, finding where you feel the stretch, but there's no strain. As the second tattva is remaining in stillness. We're about halfway through. Can we sit with discomfort and begin to find ease through the breath, through stillness, working through the jungle vines of the monkey mind, climbing up the mountain to see the horizon that has always been there. To come out of the posture, we want to move as slow and as mindfully as we did going in, placing both hands on the sides of the legs and walking them slowly up to a tall seat. Remain here for a few seconds, and then in between each posture, we'll take a counter movement. So I invite you to ground the left hand and reach the right arm up and over. And then on an exhale, swoosh that arm across the body. Inhale, up. Exhale, swoosh. You can try this with both arms, or you can windshield wiper the legs back and forth. You may even want to explore stillness in between postures, letting everything relax and really integrate into your body. As we move on to the left side, things may be completely different. Stretch the left leg out, keeping the right foot tucked in, starting with a tall spine, hinge from the hips over that left leg. What can you do to compassionately take care of this side? Maybe it's bringing a blanket under your knee, or even wrapping your strap around your foot. This posture reminds me of the current in our society, pushing us to always be reaching forward with our physical bodies, but especially our minds. The essence of yin is yielding. Yang is about changing the world, and yin is about accepting it as it is. And part of the yin practice is allowing things to unfold. Listen to your body and explore your edge. now halfway through this posture. If you'd like to walk the hands forward, getting a deeper stretch in the hamstring. Or if you'd like to walk out of the posture, take what you need. Can you find stillness of the breath, like the surface of a lake nestled in between mountains? Or a soft, rhythmic ocean sound of the breath, following the tide all the way out on the inhale and all the way in on the exhale. Watch the stillness of the mind like the deep blue of the sky. Let's begin to unravel from this posture, walking the hands close to the body, sitting up tall in the spine, feeling the sits bones grounded, taking a deep breath, and then maybe taking the right hand, grounding it, and bringing the left hand up and over your body and swoosh it across the body on an exhale. Inhale it up and swoosh it across, switching arms, getting movement in the side body, in the spine after stretching and compressing. You can windshield wiper the legs or remain in stillness. Listen to your body and take whatever movement you need in this minute we have between postures. The last sitting posture that we will move into for now is the full variation of the previous two called straddle. You can remain seated on your blanket and you may want to pull your pillow in close. Your edge can be found by bringing your legs wide like a starfish, feeling into your hip abductors at the sides of your hips. Place your pillow in the middle. Find length in the spine as you inhale and slowly begin to hinge forward with a flat back, walking your hands in front of you and perhaps resting them on your pillow. If you are feeling any negative sensations in the knees, try bringing your legs closer together. You can round the spine. If you feel negative sensation in the low back, though, keep your spine flat. Keeping your spine flat supports the 33 bones and their corresponding ligaments, tendons, and muscles to strengthen. We are now halfway through. Oftentimes, when we experience pain in our muscles, it's from underuse. It's estimated that there are over 650 named skeletal muscles in your body. And our yoga practice helps us to recognize muscles we may not use in our daily functions like working at the computer, walking, or standing. Recognize, strengthen, and relieve tension from. Connect to your breath, and if it's comfortable, close your eyes or soften your gaze. We can begin to come out of the posture like how we came in, walking the hands back towards center and sitting up tall. You can bring the legs close together and wiggle them out. Or bend the knees and windshield wiper your knees to one side and then the other. Remain in stillness. Maybe move the neck or spine. Find what feels good. We're going to move into child's pose next. So we can set up our mat to fully support us. We can bring the blanket long across the mat or recruit our pillow. And come onto your knees. If child's pose is uncomfortable for your knees, you could even tuck the pillow in between your calves and your hamstrings, or the blanket, or just lie on your back and bring your knees in towards your chest as a completely different posture option that still works the same muscles. Once you have set up your mat to fully support yourself, begin to walk your hands forward. And if you have a pillow underneath you, you can rest one side of your face on the pillow, and I'll let you know when we're halfway through to switch directions. Explore the position of your hands by either walking them forward and reaching all the way out, or painting the floor behind you and resting them near your feet. Child's pose allows you to get a deep but gentle stretch throughout the muscles in your back. If your hands are outstretched in front of you, it can provide a gentle opening of our heart space by pulling our shoulder blades up and back. Try pressing into each fingerprint, really pressing into the floor beneath you. We're about halfway through this posture. Try pressing into the floor with your toes. Really press, 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 and release. Try squeezing all of the muscles of your face. Make a weird face and squeeze. And then release everything further. Connecting to your breath. To come out of this posture, use the strength of your hands and your arms to press all the way up. As you climb out of child's pose, let's set up our mat for Sphinx pose. So we'll be lying on the belly, and you can move your bolster or pillow up to the top, and you could even lie your blanket out across the mat so that it's tucked under your hip bones when you lie on your belly. Before we move into Sphinx, you can bring your knees onto your blanket and tuck your toes under. And let's get a nice stretch in the feet and toes. And if this is way too much, you can move between coming up on your knees and stretching your toes. Think about really pulling up through the low belly and the thigh muscles so that you're not crashing your entire body onto your feet, but really providing the support just to stretch through the soles of the feet. Now, with the beautiful support system you've created on your mat, we can move into a Sphinx, but first, just come to your belly and maybe make a pillow with both hands underneath your forehead. And take stock here, connecting to your breath. If your support system feels a little off, go ahead and fix it. Really get comfortable here. You have the time and space. To move into Sphinx, we'll place our hands just underneath our shoulders and then replace our hands with our elbows, creating 2 railroad tracks up in front. If you'd like, you can even bring your pillow underneath your elbows and relax onto your pillow. This creates a compression in the low back without using the strength of your arms and shoulders. Or you can try using the strength of your arms and shoulders on the pillow, and that creates just some extra height, a deeper compression in the low back. Find what feels good here. And connect to your breath, pressing into your hip bones, pressing into the elbows, making sure that we're not hunching through the shoulders, really supporting ourselves and building strength. You can look down or look forward. Maybe move the neck in soft figure eights. Bring your chin parallel to the floor. Now imagine this beautiful line that you've created with your spine, all the way from the top of your neck to the bottom of the sacrum. Thinking about our flow, Sphinx is the direct opposite of child's pose. Remaining in these postures allows us to create awareness of our spine and its different directional movements and how to strengthen and support for a long, healthy life. If you'd like to try extending the hands so that the arms are straight, this is called a seal pose. And it's a deeper compression in the low back, more strengthening for the arms and shoulders. You can test it out and feel free to move between Sphinx and seal. Release the posture gently and fully to lie on your belly. You can bend both knees, windshield wiper the legs, or remain still. Feel the effects of our movement and stillness throughout our time today. Know that you are deeply taking care of your body. Let's use our hands underneath our shoulder blades to press up into a plank. We'll be here for a minute. You can bring your knees down. You can go onto fists or even come onto your forearms. It's important that as we stretch the spine, that we also strengthen the spine to neutralize our movements. Walk your hands back toward your knees, and let's reset up our space for a wide-legged child's pose. Recruiting any of your props, thinking about what was helpful before, maybe bringing your blanket in between your calves and thighs, bringing the blanket underneath the knees, having your pillow or bolster tucked under your belly. If child's pose just isn't your jam today, I invite you to try lying on your back and bringing your knees in towards your chest. And I'll let you know when we're halfway through. You are now halfway through. I invite you to take 2 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. To unwind from this posture, stretch your hands forward and press into all of your fingertips and begin to walk your hands back to lengthen through the spine. Remove props and let's come onto all fours and move through cat-cow. Breathing in to arch the back and look forward. You can remain here or on the exhale round through the spine, chin to chest. Remaining here for a few breaths or moving back and forth. Press into your hands or fists and take one final breath before walking your hands back towards your knees, coming to a seat. Both legs come out in one direction to come in front of you. Extending the legs straight, bringing your hands onto your thighs and sitting up tall. You can sit up on the edge of your blanket. We'll be here for 1 minute in Dandasana, building strength in the spine and all of the muscles that it takes to sit on the floor for a while and sit up tall in our chairs and even walk and run, building strength in our legs. Soften your gaze or close your eyes and connect with your breath. The ocean sound, washing away thoughts with each tide moving in and out. We'll set up our space to come into a few sitting postures. So bringing a blanket, I suggest bringing in your blocks as well. Moving into butterfly, so bringing the soles of the feet together in front of you and sitting up tall. You can place both blocks underneath your knees to reduce the intensity of this stretch, or if you feel any discomfort in the knees. And sitting up tall and hinging from the hips to move forward over your legs. Bringing your thumbs to the soles of your feet and holding on to your big toes. You can begin to round through the spine if that's in your practice, bringing your head inwards. The Yin Yoga practice has deep ties to traditional Chinese medicine, and one of the first teachers of Yin Yoga created sequences with aims similar to that of acupuncturists. Using his knowledge of the meridians of the body, or subtle pathways or vessels where energy is hypothesized to flow through or get stored in. As you squeeze the big toes, you can imagine the liver meridian that starts at the top of the big toe and travels up the leg towards the pubic bone. To some Chinese practitioners, the liver is considered the second heart of the body. You are now halfway through. Let's ease out of this posture by straightening through your spine and sitting up tall, and using your hands to push both of your knees together. Take what you need, 1 minute of movement or stillness. Let's move up the body into the space of your shoulders. We are going to be sitting for this posture, and if you'd like to come to your knees, that is also welcome. Just set up your space accordingly. Let's take the hands wide, and then bringing the hands in towards center, bring your right elbow underneath your left. Or if this stretch is too much, you can try bringing the right elbow up behind your head and pulling it in towards center with your left hand. Or you can even come up on your knees and clasp both hands behind you. There's so many ways to stretch and take care of the space in our shoulders. And the way our society tends to work, oftentimes this can be a really sensitive area. So if one of these stretches just feels too intense, feel free to try out any of these options. You are now halfway through this stretch. Gently release your arms and feel free to roll your shoulders or hike your shoulders up towards your ears and then gently relax them down the back. You can take a few side stretches. Release this posture in any way that feels good for you. Let's come back to center, and you can try switching the position of your feet so that the one that's in front comes behind, and then we will come to the shoulder stretch on the other side. The two sides of our body can be very different in their flexibility and their strength, so explore the posture that feels most supportive on this side. You are now halfway through this stretch. Only if you wish to find a deeper stretch. If your elbows are in towards center, you can try turning the hands to face one another and clasping them together. You can try moving your elbows up and down. If your arm is behind you, try pressing your elbow into your left hand and your left hand into your elbow for an isometric stretch. Do this for a few seconds and then let it go. Gently release this posture. Another movement that you can come into is bringing both hands out to a T and bringing one thumb up and one thumb down and then switching. Kind of feels like a fun little dance. Release this posture in any way that feels good for you. We're going to finish this yin yoga practice on our backs, of course. I like to set up my mat so that it's super comfy. I take my blanket and put it across my mat so that there's a little bit of cushion between me and the floor. So begin to set up your space, thinking ahead for your Shavasana self. Coming down to your back, I encourage you to take a few deep breaths. Bend both knees so that your feet are on the floor. Bring both hands to your low belly. Let's build some awareness of the spine by moving the bottom bones of your spine and the sacrum back and forth, so you're making a small arch in your back and then completely flattening your back on the floor. Doing this a few times. And then grabbing your block to rest underneath your sacrum. So lifting the hips and putting your block right underneath the bottom of your spine. Once the two bony landmarks of your back body behind your hips are resting on your block, stretch through the right leg, keeping the left leg bent. We're focusing on the hip flexors on the right side of the body. You are now halfway through. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Gently slide the heel of your right foot in towards center to meet your left side. Take a few deep breaths as you rest and center on your block. Now extend through the left leg. Take a few deep breaths as you rest and center on your block. You are now halfway through. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Gently slide the heel of the left foot in towards center to meet the right side. For our final posture, we'll bring both feet up towards the sky as our hips rest on the block. Feel free to take some movement here, maybe bringing the legs wide, bending the knees, or finding stillness with both feet reaching towards the sky. We've been on the block for quite some time, so it's important that we look after our spine and take good care. To come down, try bringing your knees in towards your chest, and then slowly releasing your feet with bent knees to the ground. And once you feel steady, you can slowly remove the block. Once you remove the block, you might want to come back to the movement that we started, creating a gentle arch in your back and then flattening your back or rolling your hips from one side to the other. We will take our final posture by bringing your knees in towards your chest. You can squeeze them in tight. You can press your knees into your hands and your hands into your knees, or just remain in stillness. You are now halfway through. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Perhaps slowly point and flex through your toes. It might feel really good to release this posture by bringing your chin in towards your knees, by turning on the muscles of the belly, and kind of doing the opposite action of compressing through the spine. Take any final movements or postures that you're craving before we'll rest in Shavasana. Your body temperature may have dropped. That's very normal for a yin practice. I invite you to cozy up, close your eyes, relax the muscles of your jaw, toes, and shoulders, and find rest in Shavasana. We'll be here for a few minutes. Bringing awareness back into the body by taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And again, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Bring micro movements into your fingers and toes, and then larger movements into your wrists and ankles. We will meet in a seat to close out this practice. Feel your sits bones grounded beneath you. Sit up tall through your spine. Take one final deep breath in and out. Bring your palms together at your heart and really press them together. Bring your thumbs to your heart space. Thank you for committing your time today, and I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.